Hey everybody, my name is Michael Galvin. I'm so excited to have you here today. I run Broadway.media here on Instagram, and today's Instagram Live guest we have is Autumn Hurlbert. So, let's just wait for Autumn to join. But until then, let me tell you about Autumn. So Autumn made her Broadway debut in Legally Blonde after coming in as the runner-up in MTV's Legally Blonde the musical The Search for the Next Elle Woods. Her national tour credits include Little Women and Something Rotten. Right now, Autumn is part of Christmas 2.0, which is an online stage reading presented by Passage Theater. So we're just going to wait for Autumn to join. And if you're here already, just send in the little request button so I can let you on. So, super excited to chat with Autumn. I hope you guys have all your questions ready for her. If you do have any, put them in the little question mark button, which is on the right side of your screen for Autumn. And then when she comes on, we'll have some questions to talk about. So, how is everybody doing today? Everybody excited for Autumn? Just waiting for Autumn to join in. Awesome. Hi, Autumn. So, Autumn, there will be... Oh, I think you got it. There we go. View request. Go live. Hey, Autumn.
Hey, how
How
are
are
you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, I was a minute late. I had to get my
Don't
kiddos
worry about it.
situated.
Don't worry about it. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm loving the questions everyone's
I know.
asking, and they're so good, and it's just such a great community.
Yeah, totally. So, how has your quarantine been since 2020 has been crazy? How has it been for you?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an optimist, so I always try to think on the bright side. Um, and I've gotten time with my kid that I wouldn't have gotten. And we've just sort of formed this bond because I've sort of been his only playmate.
Oh,
And also we had been saving and scrimping and saving for a really long time to buy a car, and we bought a car from
oh,
Carvana, and
congratulations.
thank you. And we ended up taking uh, a little over 10 weeks, and we went to see all the grandparents. So
Oh, that's awesome.
my parents and my husband's parents. And so, you know, the best way to book a job is to book a vacation. So that's the only time in my life that
Yeah.
hasn't been true.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
that's awesome. Yeah.
yeah, and on the other hand, it's deeply depressing to see how decimated our industry has become. But again, optimist, the way people have pulled together and the creativity that it's inspired and the new ways that people are making art and taking time to create their own things without having to, you know, wait for someone to create a job for you has been really, really inspiring. So, yeah, I think it's a mixed bag. I'm so lucky in so many respects, but I'm also I'm just sad. I miss theater so much. I miss it so much. I don't
Yeah.
sing as often as I should, just for fun.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's been. I also have ADHD, which if there's anybody out
Oh,
there that has ADD, ADHD, it's really hard when the structure is
I bet.
taken away from you to like find your bearings. So that's
Right.
been an interesting challenge.
Well, one of the creative ways that you've been staying active is this new Christmas 2.0 project with the Passage Theater. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So I did a show a long time ago at Second Stage called Nobody Loves You, and the director is this amazing woman, Michelle Tattenbaum. And she wrote me and said, "Hey, I've got this new play I'm working on for Passage Theater. Would you be interested in doing the virtual reading?" And it took me all of 2 seconds to say yes. I love the Passage Theater. I love the work that they do. And I love this play. It's called Christmas 2.0. And I think, I don't want to give too much away,
Of course.
but I do want to say that there's a really funny side storyline about how we interact online versus in person, and sort of the balance. And there's a character that's definitely like very tech savvy, and my character is more like me, not as tech savvy. Never have been, probably never will be.
Well, you're doing a
But,
great job doing the takeover today, so
oh,
that
good.
proves that you're tech savvy.
Well, you were so
Yes.
helpful. I couldn't believe I couldn't find the questions. I was like,
No, that's okay. No, I got you. I got you, Autumn. You're good. So I feel like we have to talk about a great moment in your career. I
okay.
feel like at least the MTV, the search for the next Elle Woods. So
Yes.
that show came out in 2008, and I was probably in kindergarten when that show came out, and actually, I know probably shouldn't have said that. Probably shouldn't, but
No, no,
whatever.
no, you're fine. You're
We're
fine.
gonna do it. So I had growing up, I had rewatched it a lot because it's all on YouTube. And actually,
Hmm.
2 weeks ago, before I knew you were taking over, my sister and I had just finished rewatching it, so it's all fresh in my mind. So
Oh my
what
gosh.
was that whole experience like? Like, how'd you know MTV wanted to do a Broadway reality show, or how was it crazy to see that now Lena Hall won a Tony? Like these
I
people
know,
you were in like a
right?
confined space with, like crazy.
Yes, yes. No, it was a really interesting experience. MTV had filmed Legally Blonde the musical, and it was really popular. It had a huge fan base, and so they had this crazy idea to do a reality show to replace Elle Woods. And I had auditioned a couple times for the Broadway show and made it really close to replacing Margot. Um,
Okay.
but Haven Burton, who is
Hey man, yeah.
insanely talented, she booked it and was perfect. But I think they kind of, they just had me in their back pocket. So just remember, even though sometimes you don't get told yes, even though you don't book the job, that doesn't mean that they're not thinking of you
Right.
for something else, or just holding you for a better opportunity or whatever. So that door is never closed. Um, and for me, it was closed for the Broadway show at the moment, but can you hear my kids? Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's totally fine, totally fine.
um, but yeah, so my agents called and said the producing team at Legally Blonde, Jerry Mitchell, would love to have you come in to talk about this reality show that is happening. It's gonna be like Project Runway for musical theater. And I was like,
Oh,
oh, that would be amazing. I think that would be so cool. And so I sort of went through the process, and it was not like Project Runway for Broadway.
you're like
I was
false
really,
advertisement, guys.
yeah,
Come
false
on,
advertisement. But I obviously ended up doing it, and I came in second place. And I will say it was not an enjoyable experience. It was not a fun experience, but
hmm
that's not because of theater or because of the show. That's because reality television is not my
the way
favorite.
it is, the way
Yes, yes.
it's its own category.
It truly is. It truly is its own category. And it's, they just their main goal is to stress you out. They want to see you break down. They want to see you freak out. So they, we didn't have phones. We didn't have any newspapers. We didn't have TV. We didn't have any contact with our family or friends for weeks and weeks and weeks and
Wow.
weeks while we filmed. So, we were stressed, and your best self doesn't always come out in those situations. I think I was lucky that I sort of kept a cool head, and I stayed true to myself. And, it is what it is. Someone asked if I regretted doing the show, and I truly don't regret doing it, and I honestly would probably make the same decision. But my kid is really loving his
Having fun.
PBS games. Um,
Nice.
but until I lost my train of thought.
You were talking about how you felt like you didn't regret the whole experience.
Yeah, no, I don't regret it. And also, again, the girls were so amazing. They're just the wonderful humans, and we're still friends. And so I wouldn't take any of that back. Um, but, I would have been smarter. I would have done a little more research maybe on reality television. Um,
Oh,
I also, I don't know. I think I would have taken it less personally. I took it so personally. I thought my career was over when I didn't win. I thought it was over. I thought I would always be the runner up, and I really, started to embody that second place mentality, like
uh,
imposter syndrome. Well, I didn't
mhm.
win this, so how will I ever, you know, how will I ever have the confidence to, book a Broadway show? And that's, that's part of being young. It's hard to keep your confidence in situations like that. So hindsight is 2020 though. If I could go back and tell my younger self, it's all going to be okay. It was also a very different thing when it very first aired. The culture around it was very mean. It was very,
Mm,
you know, it wasn't when we responded to comments from viewers and stuff, it was some really, really virtual, it was, cyberbullying. Um,
right, yeah.
but and it's back up on YouTube. It's just a very different culture and it's so supportive and wonderful. And I've connected with so many young performers. And it's been such a great source of joy and happiness for me now.
Yeah, I was talking with this with one of my friends the other day, and I was saying the show would be so different if we did it in 2020.
Oh,
Like, I feel like it'd just be so drastically different because, like, I was watching, like, when I was rewatching it, I was like, this makes no sense. Like
yeah.
I was like, just like very like weird moments and editing, and then I was like, I know I like watched one of the live streams you did with a bunch of the girls, and you're like, yeah, a lot of that editing was not. I'm not going to talk about the
Oh,
one
yeah.
moment, the running off stage moment. Going to keep
No,
that in the past. But I'm
no.
like, I think that wouldn't slide in 2020 because with social media, people can just have the easy
Yes.
access. But you guys didn't
Isn't
have like your phones to be like, hey, actually, when you see this airing, it's not really me, but
exactly.
just
Well,
crazy.
we signed pretty airtight NDAs, but so we wouldn't have been able to say much. But
Right.
I do think it's interesting that social media is such a different beast now.
Mhm.
Gosh, back then I still had MySpace. Do you even know what MySpace is?
No, I've heard of it, but I was in kindergarten when the show aired, so I wouldn't have been able to use. So no,
Oh
no.
my gosh.
Answer
Yeah,
no.
Facebook was like this new thing, and I remember we had to make one of our platforms public so that we could connect with fans. And I was like, oh, I'll make Facebook public because that thing's not going anywhere.
Oops. Yeah, I know.
So yeah, it would be a totally different thing now. And I also think that it's the information age. So we're more
Mhm.
educated about everything now, I think. And MTV, when they produced it, they really didn't know anything about musical theater. Also, musical theater was still, I mean, it's still a niche entertainment industry, but we're talking $7.4 billion now that
Yeah,
musicals that Broadway contributed to New York State, whereas back then it was not as much of a thing. And honestly, shows like Glee and more reality competitions, it is. This is such an interesting thing to me. It is as competitive now to get accepted into a musical theater program as it is to get into a top 10 football team, college,
totally.
and
Totally.
it's much more competitive. So I think musical theater is a totally different thing now. It's more accessible, obviously. So yeah, it would be a lot different.
Totally. And now on a little other segment of your career that I love, I got to see you as Portia in
Oh,
Something Rotten in Boston. And Something Rotten was actually the first show I saw on Broadway. So when
really?
Yeah, so I got to go and meet I was very fortunate, got to meet a couple of the actors from the original Broadway cast afterwards. And
Oh,
when I heard that it was coming to Boston, I was so excited. So what was it like touring as Portia across America?
a dream. It was one of the best experiences of my life. It was so I was very pregnant when the show opened on Broadway.
Okay,
And
yeah.
when I had Lincoln, I remember seeing it right. I saw it with a friend, and I remember being like, oh, Portia, oh, I need to play Portia someday. Little did I know that it would be on the first national tour. And, Lincoln was not even a year and a half yet.
Wow.
And I am so lucky. I'm so lucky. My husband is like a psychologist, and I'm lucky on more than one front, not just for this story. I have at-home psychiatric care. No, I'm kidding. But not kidding.
Not, but fully
Um,
serious.
but serious. But he was able to wind down his practice and go on tour with me and our kids.
Wow.
And so we toured as a family, and we affectionately called him the stay-in hotel daddy. And Lincoln was like the life of the party. He was I still can't quite describe the joy that bringing up a theater kid, I mean, I have these memories of us being totally frazzled with, a toddler with a very small child, getting to the airport late, just a mess,
Right.
whatever. And castmates they would drop everything. Rob McClure,
Oh,
I have this vivid memory of Rob like waiting in line with the whole cast to do luggage and stuff, seeing Tim and I and Lincoln walking in, and just walking over to us, dropping to his knees, eye level with Lincoln, whisking him off into the
oh.
magical world of Rob McClure. Um, you can't pay for those experiences.
No.
And my husband figured it out once that Lincoln slept in 67 different rooms while we were on tour.
Wow. Wow.
And for a baby who was a bad sleeper, he was really good at sleeping in different rooms on tour. So, and to play Portia specifically, that show has such a special place in my heart. I think it's one of the funniest shows,
Yes.
and every kind of humor. There's slapstick humor, there's physical humor. It's really witty. It's really
Hmm.
smart. To be touring with a joyful, funny show with joyful, funny people during that time was, I don't know, we would do it all over again. And honestly, like sometimes you always fall in love with your cast, you always fall in love
Hmm.
with the people. But life happens and you lose contact, or there's like a couple people that you retain, or it all circles back. But the Something Rotten cast, we have a text thread that
Oh,
we still text almost daily.
wow. That's awesome.
Something almost every day. We wish each other
Wow.
happy birthday. We talk about everything. We're still very close, and that is, when it was coming to a close, I was teasing and saying, well, if I never work again, this was the best experience I could have gone out on.
I know. That show, I don't know. I always think about Something Rotten and I'm like, what is it the show that what quality is it? But it's what you were just saying, like like you saw the bond with everybody in the cast and you want to do a fun show with fun people.
Yes.
So that's the plus, I guess, is
Yes.
what I'm hearing from your story from everybody on the tour.
Yes, we're in it, and it's a comedy, and it's a new musical. It was an
Yes.
original musical with original music. I'm very close with the writers, and they really, from top down, Casey Nicola down, they just made it family. And Steve Bebout was our director for tour. He was associate director. He's a stellar human. I don't know, it truly couldn't have been a better experience unless it was still going. I wish we were still doing.
Trust me, if it had to stay in Boston, I would be there
Right?
almost every show.
So you saw us open it. You saw the opening.
Yeah, yeah, I saw the
Ah,
opening stop, which is crazy.
wow.
Um, so now I'm gonna go from some questions
Great.
that the audience had sent in.
Awesome.
So, oh, this is up. My mom sent a question who saw
Oh,
you as Portia. And so you kind of mentioned this briefly, but what are your biggest strategies while balancing touring and being a mom?
So I mean, I think logistically it was always tough to you know, I missed all the bedtimes, and to like straddle the energy of being 100% there at my job that night and being 100% there for my kid during the day. That's a hard balance. But I also think what it taught me is that, um, I think it got me away from the mentality that you you have to make all the sacrifices for your kid. You can't do any of those big things because kids need to be in one school and they need to be in one place, and they supposed to be this way. And I think we broke the mold in every way, and it became invaluable to show Lincoln that mommy has a life of her own, and mommy has as much of an obligation to my talent as I do to being a mommy. And I think in the future, hopefully that will facilitate the courage in him to be adventurous and take chances on himself and be independent, and adaptable. So I think modeling that for him was invaluable. And that was a big part of our strategy, was just accepting that, yeah, this is hard and this is not normal, but our kid only knows what we teach him. So
Right.
that's it. And, I again, theater is it's just the most incredible, empathetic, energetic, full loving people. And so I do have to say, I did not do it alone. Our whole company helped. It takes a village. Is that rambled on? Did that?
No, I think that's a perfect answer. Perfect. So let me find another question. Oh, this is something I would actually want to know.
Ooh.
Favorite roles or dream roles? I love dream casting people, and I want to know what role are you secretly coveting that you want to do?
Okay. Gosh, there's so many. I mean, I actually, the most current one that I'm secretly coveting is Anne in Six. I mean, that is like to sing tone and that.
Have you seen it?
You know what? I haven't. I have just listened obsessively.
I saw it twice, fortunately, in Boston when they did their out of town at the American Repertory. And you saying you want to play Boleyn? That would be, I could totally see you do that role.
Love
It's
it.
such a great show.
I think like big commercial theater, I would love to get my hands on Glinda. I think it might be getting a little
It's
late
okay.
for
They've
me
been
to do
using a
that.
lot of Glindas throughout the years. We need Autumn as Glinda.
It's true. So Glinda,
And another Kate Reinders role.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's funny because I have such respect for her. She's just so, I mean, she's the best.
Did you get to meet her?
I have met her. Yes. Yeah, she's an incredible, hilarious human.
Yeah, I feel like since I saw the Broadway production and I got to see the tour, the show is so different, but I loved I love that you kept you honored what Kate had done in the original, but you still got to bring yourself to the role. I feel like because I love getting to see different people play roles, and I thought it was awesome that it's so hard just when I acted, try to fit yourself as other people, but I feel like you really brought your own nuances as Portia, which is super amazing.
So much to me that you noticed that and think that, and I have to say that's sort of how I roll. I'm just I try to just be me, and I've lost a lot of roles and opportunities because of that, because I don't necessarily always fit the mold that they need or want, because I'm just sort of my own wacky self. But I also think that it's largely a testament to Casey Nicola and Steve Bevout, in that they let the tour cast be its own entity. They're good at bringing out what everyone is best at and what they bring to the table. And so while it's still the same show, it worked because it had, we had a specific energy, chemistry. And that the fact that they allowed that, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always happen that way. When you go into shows that have been running for a really long time, it's fair. The audience expects to see something. If you go to see Lion King and Pumbaa doesn't have that big,
Yeah.
if Pumbaa's like a little warthog, that's not really, that throws you out of the story.
Right.
So we, to be allowed to put our own spin on things was, I don't know, invaluable.
Yeah, that show was so magical, and I'm so excited I got to see that.
Yay!
Let's try to find another
In
question
these
for you.
comments. Hi, everybody.
Um, hmm.
Oh, Fantine. I would love to play Fantine. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
So, um, just a couple of people, and I'm looking in a separate comments box
Oh,
from
great.
earlier, and everyone just complimenting you on all of your roles, especially Portia, and saying that I
Oh.
wish you won,
Oh.
Elle Woods, and I totally agree. Um, um, oh, okay. How, okay, let's see this. How did you gain some self-confidence
Mm.
slash self-esteem back in theater after years of bullying? That's an interesting question.
That is a great question because I think we all battle that. And, you know, it took a healthy dose of a bunch of things, of really good friends bolstering me and encouraging me when I didn't have it in me to do that for myself. And my family's always been incredibly supportive, which I know that I'm very lucky, and that's not always the case. But also, um, just staying true to myself. I think when our confidence is taken away, or when we give our confidence away, it's because we're trying to fit someone else's expectation of us. And once I let go of all of that, I let go of the expectation of the casting offices, of directors, of everything. And I just kept saying, repetition. I heard, this is what I heard once. I can't remember who said it, but someone said confidence is like lipstick that you put on every day, and you have to put it on every day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's a big bright red and you have just got it going on and you're feeling great. And sometimes it's like a runny, messy gloss that is not your right color and it's fighting it all day, but you got to keep it on, and you just have to. I would leave Post-its for myself in the mirror, encouraging Post-its. A lot of, maybe it sounds cheesy, but gratitude journaling. I think,
Yes.
and that's a big part of it too, is finding my way back to gratitude, not just for opportunity, but also, if you're in theater and you're a performer, you've been given a gift, and if you're worried about what other people think about that gift, it's not going to be very fulfilling. If you're concentrating on giving that gift and making an experience for someone else, without attaching any of your own heart to what they think of it, then I think that helped. That's a really, I need to think more on that question of really how I found my way back. Baby steps, baby steps.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Autumn. I think we're approaching our end of our live. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for taking over today. And I think there's still a couple questions. If whatever you want to
Yeah,
do with your schedule, totally up to you.
I am rehearsing for Christmas 2.0.
Yes, Christmas 2.0.
I'm rehearsing tonight, so I will have a little bit of radio silence while I'm rehearsing. But I love, again, I just love theater. I love theater fans, and I will do my very best, even if I'm up till the
Oh,
week more and answer all those questions. So put the
well,
question
don't
in.
stress out about it, but
I won't.
um,
I'll get to as many as I possibly can.
well, thank you, Autumn, and everybody who's watching this live stream. For more information about Autumn's new show, Christmas 2.0, check out the Passage Theater here on Instagram. Autumn, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Michael, thank
Oh,
you. Fans are very special, and your account amazing. And I just love that we got to do this.
Awesome. I thank you so much, Autumn. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great rest of your afternoon.
I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.